They skipped my baby shower, left a 30 cents note with the bartender. Sold your car. We're cruising first class. Be happy for us. I whispered, I am. Then drove home with two movers, cleared the items I'd gifted, took a photo, sent it to the family chat. 55 messages. One email. From someone I thought I'd lost. But the real shock was my mom's follow-up. He's coming home. Be gentle. I kept glancing at the door. Every time it opened, a part of me braced. Maybe this would be it. Maybe now. But it wasn't. Just another guest from work. Then my college roommate. Then Mrs. Lynn from downstairs, holding a gift bag twice her size. Not them. The band was playing something soft in the background. Tulip arrangements lined every table. The cake was flawless. 3 tiers, white and gold, delicate sugar peonies curled along the edges. I had chosen every detail, paid for every detail. And every time someone smiled and said, "You did all this yourself?" I just nodded. The baby moved slightly inside me. I exhaled, tried to ignore the chair that sat empty beside mine, and the one next to that, and the one across. "You okay?" James, a guy from legal, leaned in. "They still not here?" I just smiled. "Running late, maybe." He didn't push it, just handed me a card with a duck in a suit and wandered off. 10 minutes later, Claire took the mic. My best friend since high school. She raised a glass and said, "To the strongest woman I know." Everyone clapped. I smiled. And still, those chairs. Still empty. Still nothing. No call. No text. No explanation. Just the echo of silence where their voices were supposed to be. I stood to thank everyone. My hands trembled just slightly as I touched the mic. "Thank you for coming," I said. "It means more than you know." I saw them. Faces from every part of my life. Co-workers, neighbors, old classmates. People who remembered my birthday, who offered to paint the nursery, who brought extra cupcakes just in case. But not my mother. Not my sister. Not a single person who shared my blood. As the applause faded, I turned back to my table. And that's when the bartender approached. Young guy. Nervous. Holding a folded piece of paper and a check receipt. "Someone asked me to give this to you," he said. "Said you'd understand." I opened it. 30 cents. Scrawled next to it, on a crumpled napkin. "Sold your car. First class cruise. Be happy for us, Mom and Kayla." I just stared at it. For a second, the words didn't register. My car. Gone. My baby shower. Skipped. The cruise I wasn't invited to. The paper trembled in my fingers. But my voice didn't. I folded the note. Slipped it in my purse. Took a breath. Then whispered the only thing I could manage, to no one in particular. "I am." And walked out. I didn't cry on the drive home. Didn't scream. Didn't call anyone. The baby kicked again at a red light, like a reminder that I wasn't alone. And that's when something clicked. They hadn't just skipped my baby shower. They'd sold my car. A car I'd fully paid for last November. A car I used to get to doctor's appointments, to prenatal classes, to the late-night pharmacy when I couldn't sleep. The cruise they were on? 7 nights. First class. Balcony cabin. Exactly the package Kayla had shown me, just for fun, 3 weeks ago. She said, "Can you imagine dropping 7 grand just to sit on a boat and tan?" Apparently, they could, as long as it was my money. At home, I opened the hall closet and pulled out the little blue folder. Receipts. Invoices. Proof. I'm not a lawyer, but I document things. Always have. $3,000. The full furniture set I bought for Kayla when she got her first apartment. She said she'd pay me back once she settled in. That was 3 years ago. $1,200. The flat screen I gifted Mom 2 Christmases ago. She cried when I handed it over, said, "You're too generous." $850. The washer-dryer combo from last year's Prime sale. I installed it myself while they were on vacation. $2,400. The gray sectional Kayla just had to have after her breakup. "I'll pay you back," she said. "Just not this month." That was just the start. By the time I hit 10 grand, I stopped tallying. They never paid me back. Never offered. And still had the nerve to take the one thing I didn't give, my car. That's when I made the call. 2, actually. The first, to a moving company. I knew the guy from the building next door. His cousin ran logistics. I gave him 3 addresses and a list. The second, to Claire. "I need you to drive the truck," I said. "I'll handle the rest." She didn't even ask. Be there in 40. By the time the movers arrived, I had Post-its on every item that was mine. Every gift. Every favor. Every piece of my generosity they'd absorbed like it was their right. Claire pulled up with a black baseball cap and a protein bar. "You're glowing," she said. "Rage," I replied. We started with my mom's condo. The movers were professional. Quick. Polite. I pointed to the fridge. "Gifted December 2022. They nodded and unplugged it. Then the TV. The Dyson. The bookshelf I custom ordered from that overpriced woodworker Kayla found on Instagram. Next, Kayla's apartment. We took the couch, the wall mirror, the Nespresso machine. One neighbor poked their head out and asked if she was moving. "She doesn't know yet," I said. By sundown, the truck was full. I didn't sell anything. Not yet. I just parked it in a friend's garage and took a photo. Then I opened the family group chat. Captioned the photo. $12, 784.63, reimbursed. Not to shame them, just to acknowledge the imbalance. Quietly, clearly, then turned off my phone. By 9:42 a.m., the consequences started hitting. Not quietly, not slowly. They hit like hail on glass. The first ping came from Kayla. No greeting. No punctuation. "What is wrong with you?" Then 3 dots. Then again. "You took the couch?" I didn't answer. I was in the kitchen making tea, hands steady despite the adrenaline humming in my veins. Rooibos. No caffeine. I needed clarity, not fuel. While the kettle whistled, more messages rolled in. "You shouldn't have done that. Return the couch. Today. You're acting crazy." I walked back to the living room. No more flat screen. No more sleek espresso machine. Just my old TV, a chipped mug, and peace. Only the slight echo of my steps, bouncing off an apartment that looked freshly moved into or freshly abandoned. Every item gone had a memory. The dining table I once built for $80 and hosted 6 holidays on, gone. The full-length mirror Kayla borrowed because lighting's better at your place, gone. The espresso machine they mocked me for, so unnecessary, until they started showing up every weekend for cappuccinos, gone. Another ping. Mom this time. "Did you really take those things from home?" Hormones. Oh, of course. The fallback strategy. Dismiss. Shame. Guilt. They skipped my baby shower. They stole my car. They left a 30-cent tip with a smug note. And I was the unstable one? I didn't reply. At 11:08 a.m., my phone rang. It was Mom. I stared at the screen. Let it buzz. Let it ring. And then picked up. Her voice was already boiling. "You think this is funny? What you did?" "No," I said. "I think it's balanced. You took our furniture. My furniture. Bought with my money. Delivered under my name. You're so spiteful lately. It's disturbing." I swallowed. Not rage. Not tears. Just tired clarity. "You mean?" I stopped handing things over without question. "That's what's disturbing." Silence. Then a tone shift. The faux concerned one she uses when trying to de-escalate before holidays. "We just thought, with your baby coming soon, you'd be too busy for Kayla. We wanted to give her a little something. A gesture. To remind her she still matters. You wouldn't want her stressed, would you?" Funny. You didn't worry about my stress when I was left sitting in that venue, alone, explaining to confused guests why half the RSVPs didn't show. She felt bad about that. No, she didn't, I snapped. She felt entitled to a week in Tulum and figured I'd understand. Like always. Mom lowered her voice. "She's your sister. You're supposed to support each other." "I did," I said. "For 10 years. Rent. Phones. Loans. Your dishwasher. The fridge. The streaming services. The couches. The car. I thought you liked doing those things." I laughed. That awful, sad kind of laugh you give when someone rewrites your own history in front of you. "I liked having a family. Then why are you tearing it apart?" "No," I said quietly. "I'm just refusing to hold it up on my own anymore." I hung up. At 12:42 p.m., Kayla showed up, pounding the door like she owned the building. I watched her through the peephole, pacing back and forth in that hoodie, the one I recognized from the vacation pics. The same pics where her boyfriend held my car keys, grinning beside my plates. "You made me look like a monster. People are asking why we didn't come to the shower." I cracked the door, kept the chain on. "Maybe tell them the truth." She blinked. "Which version?" I continued. "The one where you forgot. The one where it was too far to drive. Or the one where you took the only way I had to bring my son home from the hospital?" "That was a joke," she stammered. "The bartender thing. We were tipsy. You left a printed note. Taped to a check. With a heart emoji. God, you're so sensitive." "No," I said. "I'm just done." I needed that couch. I'm nesting too. I'm pregnant. And you've had a village. I've had invoices. She pulled out a pink rattle and let it drop to the floor. It bounced off the floor, cheap plastic clicking against tile. You're punishing my child. That stopped me. I stared. For the first time, I saw it. The manipulation wasn't even about me anymore. It was generational. She wanted to keep the cycle alive. I'm protecting mine, I said, and closed the door. At 4:03 p.m., an email came in. Subject, heard what happened. It was from Dad. I hadn't heard from him in over 6 months. Ever since his retirement and cross-country RV trip with Lark, his soul partner, who made her own kombucha. His message was brief. Your mother told me everything. I'm sorry you went through that. I wasn't always present. I know that. But I'm proud of how you handled yourself. I'll be in town this week. Want to grab coffee? Just us. Then, P.S. The car was registered in your name. No legal transfer. If you want help filing, I'm here. I stared at the screen, then stared at the couch, now gone. The seat they used to crash on when they had nowhere else. The place where I once stayed up all night nursing Kayla's broken heart after a breakup. Empty now, but it didn't feel lonely. It felt reclaimed. I poured myself another cup of tea. And finally, for the first time in weeks, I smiled. Because this wasn't rage. This was clarity. One I didn't shout about. One I lived. Quietly. Steadily. Unapologetically. And I wasn't done. Then, a ding. Not from the chat. An email. From Mike Reynolds. I stared at his name like it was a ghost. Subject, I saw. Time, 1:14 a.m. I clicked it open. Camilla. I was at the venue. I didn't want to interrupt, and honestly, I wasn't sure I had the right to. But I saw the note. The bartender showed it to me after. I saw the way you held it together. I saw you smile. Then vanish. I'm sorry for not reaching out sooner. I should have. Years ago. But if you ever want to talk, coffee, vent, anything, I'm here. You deserve more than what they gave you. You always did. And I hope you know that what you did today, that took strength most people only dream of. Mike. I didn't realize I was crying until I tasted salt. Mike. The boy I dated in college. The one who stayed at my side through every finals week, who made playlists and wrote dumb poems and asked me once if my family ever really saw me. We drifted after graduation. Life things. Job things. Kayla things. Kayla had never liked him. Said he was too soft. Now, that softness felt like an anchor. I didn't respond. Not yet. But I read the email 3 times. Then came the final text from Mom. At 3:02 a.m. Mom, he's coming home. Be gentle. I froze. I read it again. He's coming home. The air around me shifted. The he wasn't Kayla's ex. Or some cousin. It was my dad. The one who'd bought the car in my name, years ago, when I needed something reliable to get to work. The one who later moved out, divorced Mom quietly, and disappeared to Arizona to live a quiet life away from the family drama. The one who used to say, I'll be the silent one. Your mother's got enough fire for both of us. He had been silent for years. Until now. I texted back. Me? What do you mean? No answer. But that morning, I got a voicemail. Dad. First words in 4 years. Camilla, I just wanted to say, I know. About everything. And I'm sorry I wasn't there when this started. But I'm here now. I filed a report about the car. It's legally in your name. They can't just sell it. It's already flagged. There will be consequences. I just wanted you to hear it from me. He paused, then added, I'm proud of you, kid. I should have said it sooner. I sat on the floor for 20 more minutes. Kayla tried calling 5 times. Mom emailed 1 line. You've gone too far. Fix it. I didn't reply. I opened the group chat again. It was now a war zone of backpedaling and excuses. Kayla. Okay, maybe it was out of line. Mom. The bartender misunderstood. We meant it to be funny. Kayla. Kim, you took it too seriously. Mom. Family makes mistakes. But this? You don't come back from this. That one hit different. I whispered aloud, to no one. Good. I made tea. Sat by the window. Thought about the baby, still turning inside me like a quiet tide. Then I texted Mike. Thanks for writing. I remember the poems. He replied instantly. I still have them. Want one? I laughed. For the first time in weeks, it wasn't forced. A month passed, but it didn't feel like time moving forward. It felt like something releasing its grip on me. The kind of silence that doesn't echo, it breathes. My son arrived early, 2 weeks before his due date, without drama or fanfare. No gasps in waiting rooms. No balloons or handmade signs. Just a cold delivery room and a single nurse whispering, "You're almost there." As I pushed through pain I never thought I could survive. I did. And the moment I heard that cry, sharp, wet, and defiant, I knew. He was here. He was mine. And no one could diminish him. Or me. Again. They hadn't called. Not when I went into labor. Not when the doctors wheeled me in. Not when I left the hospital with a newborn in my arms and a rideshare waiting at the curb. The people who had claimed to be family had vanished the moment they realized I would not come crawling back. But I didn't need crawling. I needed rebuilding. The house had changed. Not just the things. Sure, their fridge was gone. The borrowed TV, the couch I once gave away, all gone. But my place wasn't empty. I replaced every item I took with something I chose. Not out of guilt. Out of intention. A cheaper but more reliable washer. A second-hand sofa with a stain that looked like a flower. It made me laugh. A flat screen from a friend who was moving out of town. And shelves filled not with designer knickknacks, but with books I actually read. I no longer saw reminders of what I had given away. I saw only what I had reclaimed. Even the walls felt different, like they had exhaled with me. One night, I lit a candle. Not to relax. To mark something. The end of a war I hadn't declared, but had to survive anyway. I had won. Quietly. Without press releases. Then came the buzz. The chat. It had been silent since that night. The night I took back what was mine and sent the photo that lit up 55 notifications in a family that couldn't be bothered to RSVP to my baby shower. Now, there were 3 new messages. "Kayla, congrats. I heard. Mom, hope everything went okay. Mom again. Can we come visit sometime? Just to see the baby." I stared at them. Not angry. Not sad. Just still. This wasn't remorse. This wasn't accountability. It was control rebranded as concern. It was a test to see if I'd forgotten. But I hadn't. I remembered everything. The note at the baby shower. "Sold your car. Cruising first class. Be happy for us." The way the bartender paused before handing it to me, like he knew this wasn't a joke. The way my heart sank, but my spine locked. The friends who rallied around me that night, bringing lightness where there had been only weight. The movers, kind, quiet, precise, helping me clear out every item I'd gifted over the years. My silence afterward wasn't passive. It was my power. And now they wanted back in. Not because they missed me, but because they feared they were missing out. I walked to the nursery. Noah was sleeping, his tiny hands curled into fists near his face. I sat down beside him, phone still in my hand, and read the messages again. Just to see the baby. They hadn't seen me in months. But they wanted access to him. I thought of the emails. One in particular. "Mike. I was there. I saw everything. I should have said something, but I didn't know how. I'm sorry. And I'm proud of you. If you ever need anything, you've got me. For real. Mike." The only person from that event who had reached out without agenda. He didn't want back in. He just wanted me to know I wasn't invisible. And then the second shock. "Mom. He's coming home. Be gentle." 5 words. 5 words that flipped something over in my stomach. She meant Dad. The one who left. Or maybe, the one who was pushed out. The man who put the car in his name, back when I was 22 and couldn't get full insurance. He hadn't spoken to me since. Until the legal notice. It was him. He filed the challenge. He made the sale of the car invalid. He forced the paperwork into review. He did what no one else had done. He stepped in when something sacred was crossed. And now, apparently, he was coming home. Not to Mom. To me? I wasn't sure. There were too many gaps. Too many memories still frayed at the edges. But it didn't matter. What mattered was that the people who had laughed at me were now scrambling. The group chat. The emails. The backpedaling. But I wasn't walking toward them. I was standing still. Finally, I scrolled to the top of the chat. Saw every message since last year. Every joke. Every dismissal. Every time they ignored me, or erased me, or used my generosity as a ladder. And I pressed, "Leave group." "Are you sure?" "Yes." I turned off the phone. Walked into the living room. Picked up Noah. Held him. Rocked him. Let his warmth settle into my bones. And whispered. They took my car. I took my silence back. It wasn't about noise. It was about freedom. And in that room, that house, that moment, I was free.